What's up, family? Man, I bless each and every one of you. May God continue to guide you, comfort you, and aid you in your growth and development, as well as the healing stages of your life. Family, we're going to dive deep today. This is going to be deep. Okay? Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up emotionally. A while back, I made a video talking about Medusa, understanding Medusa. Okay? We're going to go deep. And again, bear with me, stay with me as I lay the groundwork for this one. We have to grow up. And again, I'm trying to be as sensitive with this topic as possible, because it could be very triggering, you know what I mean? It could be very divisive, okay? And that's not the intent of this video. That's not the intent of any of my videos. The purpose of my videos is to help us grow the fuck up. Help us get some truth and get some understanding about what the heck is going on within us. You know what I mean? And so, that being said, we're going to go. So, let's understand Medusa. There's a lot of women that I've talked to that have a Medusa tattoo, and what they say the tattoo represents, and to each their own, you know what I mean? But what they've told me, so many of them have told me that the tattoo represents was taking their power back from men because they've been sexually abused or raped. And I completely get that. I completely get that. I get wanting to take your power back. You guys hear me talk about that a lot. You know, it's meant reclaiming our power, walking in our authority, walking in the power that we have. You know, so I completely understand from that perspective. But I think we miss it when we start attaching that to that tattoo. You know what I mean? When we attach taking our power back and we attach it to sexual assaults, and we attach it to rape, and then we add the Medusa tattoo. Okay? And again, I was molested at the age of 6 by guys. 2 different occasions. Okay? So I'm not coming from somebody who's never been there, walked that path. You know, I lived with that trauma. I get it. But when we really understand the story of Medusa, let's go back. Medusa was a very, 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 very beautiful young lady. Very beautiful. So many guys wanted Medusa because she was so freaking gorgeous. Medusa had never been with any guy, didn't want to be with any guy. All she wanted to do was just serve her God. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. It's going to be deep. It's going to be deep. All Medusa wanted to do was serve her God. Excuse me. She just wanted to worship in the temple. She wasn't interested in marriage. She wasn't interested in dating guys. She wasn't interested in none of that shit. She just wanted to worship her God, her goddess. That's all she wanted to do, was be in the temple and worship Athena. That was it. And so, guys would come from all over just to see her beauty, just to be in her presence. Talking about Medusa. So Athena, the goddess Athena, was jealous. Understand this. A female goddess is jealous of a human being for being so fucking gorgeous that guys would come from miles and miles and miles away just to worship in Athena's temple where Medusa was at. So their focus shifted from worshiping Athena to, I just want to look at Medusa. I just want to be in the presence of Medusa. I just want to see Medusa. You got to understand this. So Athena, the goddess, is jealous of a mortal, is jealous of another woman. What the fuck is going on with our women? We're going there. We're going there. And this is going to be rough. What the fuck is going on with our women? You motherfuckers can't stand each other. You motherfuckers are always at war with each other. You're always tearing each other down. But then you want to come and play victim to what some dude did. And I'm not dismissing or minimizing what the dude did. He should be held accountable for his actions, but you can't keep giving women passes for doing the raggedy ass shit that they do. We're going there today. We're going there. You women dog each other out so fucking much. You women is like you're always in competition with another fucking woman. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Why can't y'all just fucking get along? You ain't got to like each other. You ain't got to be best fucking friends. But what is this fucking competition to where, oh, she thinks she's better than me. She thinks she's sexier than me. She thinks she's more da. And it's like, it's been going on since the beginning of fucking time. This is not something fucking new. Y'all getting all over social media. Y'all been in y'all workplaces and y'all having y'all little fucking alley cat fights and just the little stupid ass shit that y'all do. Where y'all tearing each other down. Oh yeah, she all that, but then I don't know why she got on those fucking shoes. Those shoes don't even go, and you know you can't wear white during this time and da. And it's like all this stupid shit. Of you guys just been so fucking critical of each other. So, in the story of Medusa, it's said that, I believe it was Poseidon, raped her. We're going deep today. Here's Medusa. All she wants to do is worship God. All she wants to do is serve God. And a male god comes and rapes her. And a female goddess, is so fucking jealous of her. So fucking full of contempt towards her, who's done no fucking wrong. Medusa has done no fucking wrong. All she wanted to do was just be a vessel to worship her goddess. That's it. She didn't ask for the fucking beauty she had. She was just born with it. I'm going there today. And now she's been punished because of her fucking beauty. She didn't ask to be born that way. She didn't ask to look that way. She didn't ask for all these fucking guys to come and offer her money and every fucking thing else to be their wife. She didn't ask for that shit. She didn't want that shit. She didn't want nothing to do with that stuff. All she wanted to do was stay in the fucking temple and worship her God. That's it. That's all she wanted out of life. She could have been married and had all the money she could have ever wanted. She could have been married and had all the land she wanted. She didn't have to be married. She could have just been a hoe and just been like, yeah, gimme, 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 gimme. But she didn't want none of that shit. She didn't want nothing material. She didn't want nothing superficial. All she wanted to do was serve God. She was so beautiful. A male god, it said, came down and raped her. Can you imagine what it's like? All you want to do in life is serve a God or serve something or do something, and everything that's supposed to be helping you out, everything that's supposed to be guiding you and protecting you and getting you to that place is so fucking jealous of you, or is so fucking, how can I say this? In your way. They become a fucking hurdle. They become a fucking roadblock. The people, the things that's supposed to help you, that's supposed to be your guide, become your greatest roadblocks, become your greatest obstacles. And so here it is. Medusa, the male god, saw that she was so fucking beautiful. He couldn't resist himself and came down and violated her. The female god, who Medusa prayed to, the female god who Medusa loved and worshipped, was jealous of her. Was jealous of her. And became so jealous of her that she turned her locks, dreadlocks, locks, into snakes and cursed her. Cursed her to the point that if anybody was to look at her again, if anybody was to make eye contact with her again, they would die instantly. This was the curse from a female god. See, we don't want to talk about that part. We just want to talk about the sexual assault. And again, I'm not dismissing the sexual assault. Let's address the sexual assault. But we're not going to give a pass to the female god, goddess, who, quote unquote, cursed her and made her a fucking monster. We're not going to give a pass to, quote unquote, female god, who was supposed to be protecting her, who should have been protecting her. At some point, we got to grow the fuck up. At some point, we got to start telling the fucking truth. At some point, we got to understand what the fuck is happening. At some point, we have to stop regurgitating bullshit. At some point, we got to start holding each other fucking accountable. At some point, We have to be accountable for our own fucking life. So, to say that you're getting a Medusa tattoo because you've been sexually assaulted or raped, and you're taking your power back from men, does not do Medusa. It's a disservice to Medusa. I get why you're doing it, but it's a disservice, and it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful because that's not the full story. It's disrespectful because a guy didn't make Medusa look the way she looked. A guy didn't curse Medusa. It was a woman. So to say that you're taking back your power from dudes and from guys that done that to you, and then you put a picture of somebody who went through that, and you use that picture as your battle cry, as your slogan. But that picture is so much bigger than that. That picture is so much deeper than that. Because it wasn't the guy and what she went through with that guy that made her into the monster. It wasn't that guy that put the curse on her. That was all done by a woman who was jealous of her, who refused to protect her. At some point, I'd like to hope that we can get connected with Source. Infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom. We could get connected with understanding the truth. You can say what the fuck you want to say. You can do what the fuck you want to do. You know what I mean? And so many of us, we've taken tainted history. We've taken distorted history and stories. And we never really looked at them, and we just heard bits and pieces of it. And we ran with that and made that the whole story. Just like we take bits and pieces of people's lives. And we make that the whole story. Yes, I was sexually assaulted twice. That's not my fucking story. That's just a tiny fucking piece of my fucking story. A tiny piece of my fucking story. Yes, I've allowed, through my ignorance, it to fuck my life up in regards to how I lived for a long time. Because I wasn't dealing with the trauma. I was just fucking existing. I was coping. But I wasn't dealing with it. I wasn't facing it. I wasn't trying to understand it. I wasn't trying to heal it and grow through it. And because I refused to do the work, my life was fucked up for a period of time. Emotionally and physically, because I was doing stupid shit. Because I refused to do the fucking work. I can't blame my perpetrators because I refuse to do the fucking work. I can't blame my perpetrators because I took that baggage and that drama and that trauma throughout my life. And I carried it with me for fucking years. I can't blame my perpetrators for that. That's not their fucking fault that I carried that shit for years. That's not their fucking fault that I took on the fucking mentality that I did of, man, because I've been violated by these dudes. I got to prove that I'm not gay, so I'm going to sleep with every woman that I can. To prove that I'm not gay. I didn't have to do that. I chose to do that as a coping mechanism. And the crazy thing is, in a matter of seconds, God showed me that I didn't have to do that. Matter of seconds. I knew I wasn't gay. I knew I was not interested in dudes in any way, shape, or form like that. And so I was able to let that go. I was able to stop sleeping with all these different women trying to prove that I'm not gay. I didn't have to do that anymore. I didn't have to wild out it anymore. Thing with Medusa. God help us. There's so much to that story. There's so much to her life. That's far more important than the sexual assault. And if all we do is attach a sexual assault to her life and make that all her life was about, we minimize and dismiss who she really was. We invalidate who she really was. We do her injustice. We do her injustice because we don't really understand her life. We don't really understand her story. And her story wasn't about just what some guy did to her. Because there was a whole bunch of guys that loved her. There was a whole bunch of guys that worshiped her. There was a whole bunch of guys that would have done anything and everything for her. It's a whole bunch of guys that idolized her. You gotta understand that. We have to grow up. We have to understand that, man. You have a choice. You have a choice. You could play victim all you fucking want. You could take on that victim mentality and carry that as a badge of honor if you want to. But that wasn't Medusa. That wasn't Medusa at all. Don't dismiss her. Don't invalidate her like that. Don't disrespect her like that. Stop telling just a tiny piece of her story as though that's her whole story. I know that you've gone through things with guys. Just because you've gone through some things with some guys does not mean that every guy is like that. It does not mean that most guys are like that. You've gone through those things with those guys because there's a lesson that you have to learn that you haven't learned yet. And so you keep getting in relationships, or you keep finding yourself in situations where you keep going through that same experience because you won't put in the motherfucking work and grow the fuck up and deal with your fucking issues. I know that's hard to hear, but this is Grown Folk Channel. This is real shit. Life is not a motherfucking joke. This is not a motherfucking game. Grow the fuck up. And stop taking on this fucking victim mentality. It robs you of your fucking power. So the same thing that you say that you're trying to get, I'm getting my power, I'm reclaiming my power. You can't reclaim your power having a fucking victim mentality. You can't reclaim your power blaming other people. We got to grow up. And that's hard. It's hard when we've been a victim for years. It's hard when we carry a victim mentality. It's hard. It is impossible for you to reach your full potential. It is impossible for you to have the ability to walk in your authority. It is impossible for you to walk in your true power, holding onto that victim mentality. There are two different frequencies, two different vibrations, and you can't be on both of them at the same time. You got to grow up. You got to decide, I'm going to carry this victimhood as a badge of honor and keep vibrating on this low frequency, or I'm going to let it go and raise my vibration, raise my frequency, and walk in my power and the authority that I have. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. That victim mentality just wouldn't allow you to recognize and understand that you had options. It wouldn't allow you to understand that there was a life lesson in whatever that experience was for you. There was a lesson for you. And that lesson wasn't to hate guys. That lesson wasn't to invalidate guys. That lesson wasn't to take on some victim mentality and now you don't trust people and you don't give a fuck and you hard and you thugged out and whoop and now you become a fucking monster. That wasn't a lesson. You chose that reaction. as a coping mechanism. As a survival tactic. We got to grow up. Hope and pray that I said something to encourage you, to inspire you, or to even challenge your way of thinking. I love you guys. I value you guys. Happy healing. Peace.